Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. This is going to be another love reading, love update. As always, we'll be embracing the masculine and feminine energy. There's never really much of a big intro to these love readings, I don't think. So I'll get stuck in. As always, we've got pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Feel free to pause the video, and I'll get stuck into pile number 1s. What do you see? What do you feel? Pile number 1s. I must say, just the vibe of this one has probably been one of the most beautiful readings in terms of the love readings, I think, that I've ever done. Not sure why. It just has an energy. Like, I think it's really, to give you the vibe, it's really got that vibe of kind of meant to be. It's really, true romance. Something really effortless about it. I'm tempted to do a little heart in the middle, but it's just so unnecessary because it's because it is it, it is the heart in a way. And I'm saying that literally and almost feeling the vibration of the format, the orientation of these two figures. It's almost giving me hearty vibes, so there's not even a need for the little heart in the middle that I would maybe do otherwise. Pile number 1s, so this kind of couple here seem to be floating into love. You could see it's floating into love, or it's almost like, when the world stops around you when you see that person. It's not even that, it's almost like, it's not like everything else disappears. It's almost like you see each other and you zoom up into the sky and it becomes literally just you two. It's not like everything dissolves around you. It's almost like you see each other and then you pause in midair, and then this is that moment I can almost see them kind of just rotating. So this is very almost cinematic is the word that Spirit was giving me. This is for the movie. This is for that animation that I've got to get myself to do one day. But it's very much more that energy. It's cinematic. There's something cinematic about this. And as I always say in my readings, part ones, especially the love readings, when we've got this dynamic of masculine and feminine, if you're not in a relationship, this could be someone who you're going to meet, or it could be a reflection of your masculine and feminine energy. So in terms of characters, this is kind of one of those descriptions or stories where I feel like there's a match here. So again, I don't even know enough about the twin flame energy to be too confident in saying that's what it is, but there seems to be some form of match here, and when that's the case in these love readings, it's almost like you're talking about the same person, so they have similar traits. Sometimes in the relationships, it's like that old saying of opposites attract. So person here, person there, they can be completely different, but then they work together cohesively. And then there's ones like this, which is like, it's more like it's just that they're almost twins, but just of the feminine and masculine. And that's kind of what that is here. So sometimes also Spirit urges me to talk about the moment, the relationship opposed to the individual. That's what I've come to realize. When I first started to do these, I used to really unpick the masculine and feminine energy. Sometimes Spirit just urges me to talk about the moment, the relationship more. So here, it's not one of those cases necessarily. It's actually, there's nothing to talk about individually so much because these are like very similar people. So that's kind of a clue to you, pile number ones. Even to the fact of their kind of size and the way they dress. This is the type of relationship where you go on a date and they've got the same color palette as you. You go and you take them for a meal, or you get taken for the meal, and you order the same thing. You got your favorite drinks that you both like. You go to their apartment and they've got the same sofa as you, or they like the same furniture as you. You've got the same favourite book. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's kind of more along those lines. And for anyone who's watching this, very much knows that although you might have experienced this in your life, you know that it's not the usual. Usually it doesn't go that way. So when it does go that way, it stands out. So that's kind of what this relationship is. In terms of characteristics, I'm getting here that both characters are quite like elegant. So there seems to be something in terms of like, to be honest, I'm getting kind of Virgo energy here, and I'm talking Virgo energy here because Virgos tend to be, as well as quite clean dressed, they can be quite stylish but understated. Like a Virgo would be they would be, in my opinion, there would be the outfit which is maybe all black but it fits well. It's a little bit Capricorny there too, or it's the simple jeans, white t-shirt, but Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of in the fit too. It's kind of it fits them well and it's clean. So I know that's maybe quite specific, but that's the vibe I'm getting here too. Um, I'm also getting that these two, actually it has got Capricorn energy in it too. These two characters uh, seem to be like they're kind of driven, they're kind of career driven. These two characters, which is why they're kind of getting along. It's like um, they're the cream that rises to the top on both sides. So let's just say this person was. Oh, I'm trying to actually channel maybe what this character could be. That's why I was taking my time. I didn't want to come up with something random. Well, for one, like fashion keeps coming through, so they both could be fashion designers, and it's like, oh, they meet, and it's like, oh wow, I know who you are, and you know who they are, because they've made their dent in their industry. Um, but I was thinking almost this person could be almost like it's a quite an interesting. uh, it's quite an interesting guess, but almost like a carpenter, but like almost like something to. They're both kind of. I feel like they're both kind of in slightly luxurious industries. It doesn't mean like. By luxury, I don't necessarily mean like unaffordable, but kind of well put together. So let's say the masculine is, well, let's just say some form of like builder or craftsperson. That's maybe a better way to put it. And I feel the feminine energy is more to do with like marketing. I'm getting that vibe. Marketing. Could also be a lawyer, something like that, like a lawyer. Or there's obviously quite a lot of things coming through here, pole ones, which is probably just tapping into all of your energies. But I'm gonna stick with that, and just bear in mind like uh, these could be energies which aren't necessarily to do with what the person actually does, but kind of how they do it. So let's say, like I said, the crafts person, the craftsman, they could even be, they could even work in a coffee shop, for example, but you know that this person really cares about the making of the coffee, the the grinding of the coffee, how the coffee is sourced. They care about that stuff even possibly more than actually just serving someone the coffee. Do you see? Um, and then the feminine energy, um, she may actually just be a yeah. Actually, let's use the same example. Let's say that she works in this coffee shop too. She cares more about how the coffee is branded in terms of marketing. She actually cares about more how to get the legal side of this sold. So let's say if there was someone in this coffee shop who wanted to make their own coffee um, and sell it in the shop, she would be more interested in how do we legally make that work? How do we make sure that we are not breaking the law? How do we make sure that contractually we're sound? How do we make sure that the coffee is safe, possibly fair trade? Do you understand? Like, I think that was a really good example. So I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that. So that's just an example of how they could be in a completely different industry to what I said, but the interest, the anchor of what they do where they're strong is in those areas that I said. So pile number one's absolutely beautiful reading. Like I said, I think this is maybe um, one of the most beautiful love reading illustrations that's come through. So I can only say thank you for that. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. So I'll see you in the next one. Please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the least you can do to help out on the channel. The birds found that funny. I'm not sure if you heard that. And check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Take care. Okay, pile number twos. We've got some stiff competition, pile number twos, because pile one's reading was just wow. Okay, I've got an energy coming through here. Not really sure how to read this. Try and center that a little bit. A little detail of this little lap over is beautiful. And you're never gonna guess. Like, so that was accidental. The way that lapped over there was absolutely beautiful, and you can't make this shit up, because right on my table I have this, and if you'll clearly see this symbol here, very much that. Just stunning. Stunning. Let's just pause on this energy. Pause on this energy, 2 part twos. There's something going on here as well with like there was a different style going on here. I'm not sure if you're picking up pile twos with the heads and the way that I've drawn them this time. It's different to how I would usually draw. And with that, I was getting a feeling of like there's something unique about this couple, this partnership. They stand out. They're different. They're different. And I was also kind of just getting now from spirit, like they know how to detach their mind, their thoughts from the rest of themselves, you know? It's like they can keep away the anxiety of the mind away from the body, which is an interesting concept in itself. It's like not letting the stress of the mind affect the body, which that's a damn miracle if you ask me. But that's what pile 2 seem to be good at. Now, what you also got here is like, so this would be, I'm not going to add to this, like I'd maybe draw hair normally there too. But we'll say that this is the masculine and this is the feminine energy. The feminine seems to be floating or so she's in this fetus position, but it's not like, I wasn't really getting so much like pain. You know, sometimes people curl up into a ball when they're in pain. It reminds me a little bit more of like hibernation or, yeah, like a hedgehog. When a hedgehog goes into its ball, into its shell, or a turtle going into its shell. It's going in there for protection. And this masculine energy is clearly just so close to the feminine energy, as it's almost like observing that feminine energy from a close. It kind of reminds me of like, it reminds me a little bit of like if you ever argue with someone or argue with your partner and you see them react in a way which is very abnormal, and it's because, let's say you say something, it reminds them of a trauma. And this goes for both masculine and feminine, men and female, by the way. You know, like if it's a woman who says something mean that your mother used to say, or if it's a man who says something mean that your dad used to say, if you're female, that person, that new person in your life may not have that same intention as your parent, but the weight still carries the same. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's not necessarily a negative reading, but it is a reading which is kind of reminding us of like traumas and how we react to them, and that kind of curling up. I'm kind of getting something nice from this reading, which is like, without ruining it, I could maybe have added, I'm quite liking the space between these two here, so I'm not going to do it, but I could easily put a hand here. You know, that would maybe be the second part of this reading, is to observe, and then there's going to be a comforting. There would be an outstretch of a hand that touches the leg. If you can picture that in your head for any visual people out there, that would be the next move. And it's like this person is going through trauma, but the masculine energy is saying like, I'm there for you. And so yeah, like we can't obviously deny this symbol as well, which is clearly there. And just trust me, Power Twos, this was not intentional, and it was not subconsciously done. Like I can just tell you that this was completely intuitive. And this damn Bible could have been anywhere in this apartment, which I wouldn't be able to come and pick it up so easily and show you. But it just happened to be in a place where I could reach for it. It's not coincidence. So we can't ignore that symbol, which makes me think there is something here to do with more than religion, faith. Like I'll probably say like God's faith, you know? So this could also be possibly pile number 2's, what's going to help you through this. So if you're the feminine watching this is almost, I don't ever like to make the readings more about one than the other, because that was one of the things that I was trying to bring to this channel. Some equality. For anyone who's been watching like tarot readings and stuff for a while, or just readings in general on YouTube. For a long time, there was just so many more women watching it, and then even the men who were doing them kind of focused for women. I kind of wanted to give it a little bit of balance to that because that's where the world's going anyway. You know, there is like the spiritual awakening, um, evolution, revolution is here. I believe so anyway, and that includes both genders. So I feel like the feminine energy here is the energy that the attention is on this on the feminine for this reading. The masculine energy is almost the observer, possibly the one in this case is first observing, seeing this reaction, and maybe not even saying anything, just observing. And then, like I said, the second phase of this masculine energy is probably going to be to comfort. And then the third stage is going to be to talk, to help. And this is where possibly that energy comes back in. It's going to be the talk of faith, of healing through belief, through healing of not being alone, from healing from working on the inner spirit. And then the feminine energy here is obviously to be on the receiving end of that, but also to be self-reflecting. So how I started off this reading is I was saying how someone can say something to us, but it can link to a trauma that we've heard before. This is for the feminines who are watching this to go, where's that true in my life? Where has my reactions not necessarily made sense to what has been said to me? Why am I reacting in this certain way? You know, it's almost, I don't want to say childish, but it's clearly linked to the womb, fetus, childlike energy. And something else Spirit has just told me here, which is quite interesting. This person actually somewhat elevates in this position. So it's like, what's quite interesting here is it's reminding me a little bit of masculine hurt feminine. Feminine gets so angry or so reactionary that they raise themselves up, but from that wounded place, so they can actually attack down at that masculine energy. So it's like they raise up, become bigger, become taller, but from a hurt place. And I think that's, again, that in itself is a interesting metaphor, at least illustratively. There's this sense here of actually becoming taller from a hurt place. I would say for the feminines who are watching this as well, I know this hasn't been like the most, I've kind of jumped around a little bit here, but I feel like for the feminines watching this could actually be expressing your gift. So I've just got a siren outside as well, giving a bit of confirmation, but it could be almost like, can you imagine if you're able to use that skill of using your pain to elevate, but then coming from a place of like Can you imagine if this character, if what was in their hand was a heart, and they just passed the heart to the masculine? So it's like you use that, you use that pain to learn how to fly. And then instead of shouting or giving anger back, you open your hand and there's a heart inside, and you give love from that higher place. You only use the trauma to get you higher, but you don't attack from that place. You actually give love. And again, we're getting hints at that through this fish symbol. You might want to Google what that fish symbol means in the Bible as well, 'cause I've got no idea, but there's something there for you. So pile number 2's reading's been way longer than I thought, but what a beautiful one again. These readings have been beautiful today. Thank you for being here. As always, remember to like, comment and subscribe. It's the best way to support what I do here. Share these videos with your friends, your family, people who you love, people who could benefit from these videos. And also check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. Take care, pile number 2's. Okay, pile number 3's. I feel like at least some of you out there going through something. See how this goes. Got some confirmation there from the birds outside. God damn, there's something. Again, that heart seemed to be somewhat accidental, but so the first thing that I would say is, like, I don't think that black heart was accidental. I would say that generally this seems like a positive message, but it has a dark undertone to it. And I'd say, I know this is a love reading, but it would be, for one, stay away from like I'm not sure if the word is black magic, because spirit is not really like saying that I've got the word right. the word is actually closer to like illegal, magic, which means like it it goes against um like the will of God. Not sure if that makes sense. Uh, so, for example, like kind of how Spirit is giving this to me is that like when we experience pain and use that to alchemize that into positive energy, you're using dark magic, you're using dark energy. So Spirit is saying that that is completely a legit um, trying to think of the word, a legit uh, almost recommended tactic method to use. And then there's things which, I can't really think of a more fitting word, but then there's like a legal magic, which doesn't make sense because that sounds very earthly realm. But then there's magic which goes against, it's like the natural laws. And that's kind of the black magic which Spirit is talking about here, which is why there's this accidental black heart here. I don't think, again, I'm not trying to put any shade on, literally any shade on black hearts, but there's other types of magic which I think it kind of touches more on our moral compass. So I guess like the example that Spirit's trying to give me is like when you actually just wish on someone's death, or when you wish that someone comes back to life when they're dead. And that's kind of what we're getting here. We're getting this feminine and this masculine energy. Spirit, believe it or not, this is a really interesting point to make. And I'm going to throw it out there, even though it seems uncomfortable to say this. Actually, when there's a death of a relationship, so that is kind of touching on that forbidden magic. Like when a relationship truly ends, let it be. Like trusting God that it wasn't meant to be. And I think this is maybe a habit that most of us get caught in, is that you can love someone and then a relationship ends, but there's still the hope of reviving it, bringing it back to life. It's like this feminine energy is trying to bring this masculine back to life, but that shit's dead. And it's an interesting statement to make because I think it touches on us all, really. It touches on the sensitivity of us all. But as you can probably, maybe not, but like when I said it, I could feel it and I knew it was true. And that's kind of, when they say the truth hurts, this is that example of the truth hurting. And it's not something that you hear every day. But like we do hear every day that, when someone, when a relationship ends, just let them go. We hear things like that all the time. We hear things like, if you let them go and they don't come back, they were never meant to be, something like that, right? I'm butchering the actual sayings, but actually what Spirit is giving us here is actually, no, it's more stern than that. It's more, It's more in the judging energy of that. It's more serious than that. It's when a relationship ends, when you are trying to will that relationship back into existence, you're sinning. You're doing magic, which isn't gosh, what's the word? Man, my words aren't with me today. Forgive me, Palfrey. It's not. You know what I'm trying to say here, though. It's not. It's not okay. It's not okay to do so. Almost spirit here is disciplining us, disciplining us to say not only is it a thing that we should just let go and let flow and let be. When you're doing the opposite of that, you're actually doing wrong, and that's where spirit is checking us, especially checking you. Pile number 3 is that you need to step into this mindset in a relationship of, in relationships, which is, when shit does end, you have to be completely understanding that God made that decision. And the moment that you try and bring your ego and your will into the situation, you're going against God. And we all know what that means. So, again, I'm not the person who's judging here. I'm just the deliverer of that judgment. I don't care what the hell you do in your relationships or what relationships you try and bring back. I'm just trying to give you the message of what God wants me to bring to you. And that is, not only are you stepping into understanding why it's important to let people go, you're also stepping into understanding the sinning of not letting someone go. So I don't know. This was quite a intense, quite a serious message for you, pile number 3s. Please don't run from the channel because I'm sure there's some wisdom in here for you. But it just had to be delivered that way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got it. So if you're the that's if you're probably the feminine energy. This is mainly for the feminine energy who's listening to this. If you're the masculine energy, I'd probably say obviously you've learned something from that too. You could obviously be someone who is unable to let certain people go. But I'd also say in the masculine position, also know when something is dead. Like, this is the character who's dead here. And it's like, again, both masculine and feminine can maybe relate to this story, but we've all been there also where something is dead, but you're still hanging on. You go on that day and they're not it, but you still try. And spirit again is trying to, God is putting the foot down and saying, you do know. So stop fucking around. You do know my voice. So stop it. You do know your heart. So stop it. And again, I think this is a lesson for all of us, y'all. Like, even I'm feeling like shit. I'm getting told off too, goddamn it. Like, fuck. Like, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Leave me the fuck out of this, y'all. So, part number 3. I think we've got what we needed to hear out of this. Remember to lift your spirits up. This is by no means a message to say there's anything wrong with you. Sometimes in life we just need light shone on a certain area, And then once we know that that light has been shone on that area, then we can almost get to the gym with it. So remember, God, I don't know, I believe that God isn't ever expecting perfection out of us. Um, God isn't expecting you to listen to this and then suddenly correct your ways instantly. But what God does expect is you've heard now, you've been delivered the wisdom. So are you going to make small steps to improve in that now, or are you going to just slip into bad habits or into your old ways? And that's what I'm saying is just get to the gym with it. You know, don't expect to um, get the six pack abs or I don't know whatever you want to work on in that gym. Uh, in terms of relationships, don't expect to get that perfection straight away, but you do have the keys now. So with those keys, have a smile on your face. It's like a new home, a new bit of wisdom, a new bit of knowledge, a new level unlocked in this game of life, and take away that as a positive because it is. So if you enjoyed the reading, pile number threes, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.